if you're in my area and you're focusing on, if you see my advertising, just know I'm slamming them out like crazy there and you're wasting your time. I'm gonna dominate the shit out of that neighborhood. Homeopathic medicine versus big pharmaceutical. It is beautiful today. My buddy Luke said it was somewhere around 5 inches. We got absolutely slammed with rain the other night and we're expecting rain the rest of the week. It is beautiful today, very overcast but beautiful. I'm gonna run through the schedule and get as much as I can done. My buddy Luke said it was somewhere around 5 inches of rain the other day. That's quite a bit. Off and on rain, a little bit yesterday. Today it's supposed to be off and on. I'm gonna do what I can and just knock them out. Now I did use Yardbook's mass messaging system today for the first time. It was very simple. Okay, I was able to just send a message to all of our clients, say, hey, we're experiencing some weather delays. Your service may be, I don't know, something along those lines. We're experiencing some delays with the weather. Your service may be a bit delayed. You know what I mean? But it sent out in text messages to all my clients. Very easy. It's something I should have been doing years ago. It's not worth losing a client every time it rains, which will happen, especially if you're doing every 2-week lawns. You'll lose clients every time it rains because they go from every 2 weeks to you get backed up and then it's 3 weeks. Then it gets rained again and then they're 4 weeks. Stop doing every 2-week lawns. I mean, seriously, if I could tell people starting out, I used to think it was impossible, and like our list isn't that big. But the dollar amount we service lawns for is high, or high relative to what I do. I make a very good man-hour rate when I'm out working. And then my efficiency is way up. So we do real well with this. We're weekly. I work less doing the actual mowing than I ever have, and we make more during the time that I'm working than I ever have, which now it becomes a situation where when it's time to scale up and bring employees back on, we're prepared and we're ready, and we have the income and cash flow needed, a tight enough route that it makes sense, enough lawns that it makes sense. I weeded down my schedule this winter and took it really down to, I think I was about 23, 24 clients. I just kept kicking them out. I mean, I was polishing up and I was like, okay, 35, that's good, okay. And then I was like, nope, just kept going. Kick this out, kick that out. I don't want it, it's too far out. And I knocked it down to about 20 clients. And now we're back up above 40, which is cool because the season just really kicked off. It's weird how it was a delayed start. The season just kicked off. Now I will say 90% of those clients that we picked up are in a very small area, so I can just fly through them. That is a workable scenario. If you're residential mowing, I don't care what everybody says about being online. You need a website, you need this, you need that. If you're in a big city, you don't. It's just going to screw you up. Now, if you're in a small city or a small town, like you're 13,000, 20,000, maybe even 30,000, I don't know, 30 to 50,000, I would utilize a website for sure because you're servicing a small area. I mean, here, I'm so spread out if I use any online marketing that it's ridiculous. And I know you can hone it down to a zip code and stuff like that, but you're talking about an expensive cost for a small area. I'm just saying it's very effective using door hangers. Every door direct would be a good method. Radius bombs would be a good method. Knocking on doors, all this stuff that's just honing in on this small area. Banded signs on all your properties so that it looks like billboards. That's a great way to build density, and it's very important for you, if you are residential, to stop looking at the commercial guys. Look at the commercial guys when it comes to how they run their systems, how they run their business, how they run their crews and different things, the efficiencies. When they're scheduling out their work, maybe not necessarily how they're running the crews, but when they schedule out work and how they do it and things like that, because they're doing a lot of grass and they can't fall behind. So that's where it's important to watch commercial companies. Where it's not important is quit looking at the way they're advertising, thinking that's going to work for your business. It's pretty much a different business. I mean, we're the same. We're cutting grass, but we're completely niched out different. So it's kind of like I'm going to throw this out. It'd be like homeopathic medicine versus big pharmaceutical. Completely different. Same thing. They're treating people's health. Completely different. I don't know if that's a good example, but it's kind of what it is. It's so drastically different. Now, if you are wanting to get into commercial, online presence all the way, my Google My Business has brought me a lot of commercial leads, and I barely put any effort into that at all. It just takes a few reviews, a little bit of time, things of that nature. Now with the painting business, if you know I got that going, the painting business, online all the way. Because it's not a small amount of money. Like the lawns, I have to knock out a bunch in one day and be efficient and just have a nice tight route with these residentials that I don't want to be spread out. But with the painting business, take it on. I don't care. We're talking about a bigger dollar amount, and anywhere between $2,000 to probably, I bet it goes up to $10,000 or more sometimes. The interior we just did the other day, that should have been about a $3,500 project. They got a hell of a deal. And that's alright, man. Like, that's part of the learning curve with it. But the thing is, we're talking about bigger dollar amounts when it comes to that. It's kind of like landscaping. It's a bigger dollar amount. They can afford to drive around. They need it. They need these big jobs. There's not as many people throwing down that much money. There are. Don't think there's not a lot of people throwing down that money. But what I mean is with lawn care, you're talking about, say you're $35, $50 or whatever, and you're going door to door. Dude, knock door to door and just get them in. Do door hangers, whatever. The thing is, like, you go through a middle class neighborhood now in my area, and it's probably a good 60 to 65% of all the houses are being mowed by a company. Not my company, although it will be in my neighborhood eventually. Not my neighborhood. The neighborhoods I'm working in. It will be eventually. I'm going to dominate the shit out of that neighborhood. If you're in my area and you're focusing on, if you see my advertising, just know I'm slamming them out like crazy there and you're wasting your time.